Hello everybody. So today we're gonna be talking about navigation log, which basically we're gonna be using it to travel from point A to point B, or as we call it as pilots, cross country. We're gonna be using like the old-fashioned day tracking and pilotage. We're not gonna be using any GPS or VOR stuff. Yes, we do have some VOR stuff here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, so now before we start with the Navlog, so we're gonna be starting here our sectional chart. And I do recommend to study the sectional chart very well and make sure it's current. It's expire every certain amount of time. I guess it's about 6 months. And you should get the new one. Okay, and please do me a favor and study all these sample on the back of the nav or of the sectional chart. Okay, so here's our starting point, Sanford Airport. Then we're gonna go to Lake Harney, and here we got like this flag is VFR sectional point. It's easy to see, which is Bethel Towers. And here we're gonna go. We can use Space Coast Airport. So the points that you're gonna pick, it doesn't be like you're gonna be flying over it because some other stuff like the land airport here in the north, you cannot fly over that. So you can use the land if you're traveling to the north. You can use the land. It's a good point. It's easy to see from the air, but you do not really need to fly over it. So you can fly next to it, and it's a good, but make sure it's not so far so you can see it. So like if you fly in here, you don't really pick MCO because it's a little further, and you probably will not see it until you are having good altitude. And here that's gonna be Lake Poinsett, and we're gonna move to Lake Washington, and boom, we are at our destination airport. So we're gonna start here. So we know our first point, it's Sanford Airport. Kilo Sierra Foxtrot Bravo. So our top of climb, we need to make sure our wind and temp, but I will show you how to get the wind and temp and interpolate it and pick which one. But as I said, since we're not flying today, so we're just gonna pick about 3,500. So I'm picking 3,500. It's not so low, like 2,500, and it's not so high because our trip is about 50 nautical miles, so it's not really long. And as I said, it's not about the distance or anything. It's about the wind and situational awareness of the obstacles. Okay, so first point, and here's our top climb. And the next one is Lake Harney. And it's actually not Lake Harney. If you see here, we're picking the southwest of Lake Harney. So we're gonna put south, SW for southwest, and Harney. So we know what we're talking about. So because Lake Harney is a little big, and we do not like keep flying over Lake Harney, like in the middle of Lake Harney and Westin Fuel. Okay, the next point gonna be Petlo Antenna. So we're gonna write Petlo. The next point will be Space Coast. Here we're not flying over it, but it's close to it. It's gonna be on our left in the airplane. So we can write the identifier of the airport, which is KTIX. Kilo Tango India X-ray. And our next point will be North Lake Poinsett. So we're gonna put North Poinsett. And the last one here is gonna be North Lake Washington. So North Washington. And the last point will be our destination airport. Okay, here I just want to mention something. Since we're doing training stuff, please make your point not so far away from each other. Try to make it about 10 to 15 nautical mile, but do me a little favor for the first couple points when you do, especially when you do your check ride, make it about 7 to 10 nautical miles, no more than that, because our check instructor is not gonna do the whole cross country with you. They just wanna make sure you know how to do pilotage data reckoning and how to use the E6P. So just so you don't waste your time, and he will be happy with you. Okay, so first thing, we got our points here. The second thing I like to do is to get our heading. So we're gonna get our plotter and line it with the line we draw, and have that little circle and this arrow aligned with the longitude, and we're gonna get our heading, which is 95. That's gonna go here for the true course, 95 on the heading. Okay, the next box here is for wind correction. We're gonna be doing that with the E6P. And next one here, and like it's negative or positive, we're gonna subtract or add and put the number here, and here is the variation. So if you look here on our sectional chart, so you see this dashed line, hope you can see it, and it's on the west, and 6. And remember that west is the best, east is the least. So if we are on the west, we're gonna be +6. If we are on the east side of the world, we're gonna be -6. So we're gonna go here +6. Then we're gonna add that to that number that we're gonna get, and I will show you how to do it, and put that number here. And here, the box on the bottom is the deviation of the magnetic compass. Since we don't know which airplane we're gonna be flying, I will pretend that we have a really good magnetic compass on our airplane, and we're gonna put 0 for the deviation of the magnetic compass. Okay, then we're gonna move to that part here, the leg, which is the distance between the first point to the second point. So we're gonna grab our plotter. Make sure you're using nautical mile, not a statute mile on the other side. So we're gonna put our plotter here in the middle of the airport, and as we see here, it's about 8 miles. So we're gonna go here. Actually, we're not gonna go here, it's here, which is the distance from Sanford Airport to Southwest Lake Harney. So we're gonna put 8 and slash that box, because we're gonna be moving while we're doing the climb. Okay, so we're gonna go to the second point from Lake Harney to Bithlow Tower Antenna, which is about 10 nautical miles as well. So we're gonna go here 10 nautical miles, and so on for the rest of our points. But we're not gonna do that, we're just explaining like 2-3 points and how we figure out the rest of the stuff. Okay, so here's the time, and that we're gonna be filling up on the airplane, ground speed, and that's really important thing, and which is how fast we're moving on the ground, and the main thing, how much we're burning for the trip. Okay. So our VY for our airplane here, we're gonna put 74 on the indicated airspeed, 74 knot, and calibrated airspeed is about 73. And as explained that yesterday on our performance right here. So airspeed calibration, we're gonna find that on the POH on the performance chart. So we have flap 0 between 70 to 80, it's 70 and 78, which is not big difference. So we're gonna put about 73. True airspeed, and we're gonna be using our E6P or our flight computer to calculate that. So Please, if you're not familiar or don't know how to use the flight computer, write down these steps because that's what I did when I did my course. So first thing first, we're gonna go to airspeed. So we actually trying to find our true airspeed, so we're gonna delete that. And our outside temperature, we can go here to for flight and find out our speed. Sorry, I don't have internet here, so we'll see. It's a really good day today. We're gonna see it's about 22 Celsius degree. But please do me a favor and go to the aviation wizard and get the METAR for Stanford Airport and figure out the temperature. Okay, then we're gonna go here to calibrated airspeed, which we got here from the performance chart, and it's 73. And pressure altitude, I always pick, like if we fly in 4,000 picks a half because we're gonna be in the middle of climb. So it's about 3,500, so we're gonna put about 1,900. And boom, we got our true airspeed, 76.47. We can say it's about 76. I always like to round up. 76 on the true airspeed. Now, ground speed, how faster we travel on the ground, the actual speed of the airplane on the ground. So we're gonna go back on the flight computer and we're gonna go to wind correction. And we're gonna be doing most of the work here, wind correction. Okay, so we're trying to look for our ground speed, true heading, and how much is the difference between that to correct for it. Okay, before we get to that step, we need to get our wind and temp. So we have nice place here to do our notes, and we can do our wind and temp here. So we're gonna go to, okay, so we're gonna start here to find out our temperature. Since we go into Melbourne and that is our closest one, so here, Melbourne station, we're gonna be 3,500, so we're gonna get our wind. It's our wind here for 3,000 Melbourne, 900, and wind speed is 16. At 6,000 here for Melbourne, 120 at 5. Okay, so it looks like if we climb higher, it will be much better for us because the wind speed is not that much. It's only 5 compared to 16, but that's fine. We already picked 3,500, and since we're doing training, we'll be going there doing probably like a landing or two and coming back. That's if Melbourne Tower let you land over there, because sometimes they say no, don't land here. So if you go a little slower on the way to Melbourne, you will be coming a little faster because you're gonna have tailwind, and the opposite, of course, when you go there. Okay, so here on the top, I like to put, and we're gonna be correcting for our temperature. So our surface, which as we know, our standard temperature is 15 Celsius. 1,000. The more we go up, each 1,000 we lose in 2 degrees, so it's gonna be 13 Celsius. At 2,000, gonna be 11. At 3,000 will be 9. 3,500 will be 8. We're losing only 1 degree here. Okay, now we know that will be our temperature on the top when we travel at 3,500. Now we want to interpolate the temperature from Stanford Airport. So we're gonna go to Stanford Airport, and here the temperature is 20. So on the surface at Stanford Airport, it's 20 on the surface. And if we go up 1, it will be 18, 2, 16, 3, 14, and 3.5 will be 13. Not too much difference. It's about like 5 degrees different. Then we're gonna make sloping line here for our climb. So at Sanford Airport will be 13. So I actually like to add these two up, so, and divide by 2. So 8 plus 13 is 22. And here will be 8. And the middle of these two will be 30, which gonna be 15 Celsius. And that we're gonna plug here to our E6P. All right, so we're gonna go back to the first page to get our ground speed. Okay, so we're looking for the ground speed here on the top. As we said, our true airspeed is 76. We have here 76. Our true course, which is 95, and here 95. We're looking for the true heading, so don't put anything in here. Okay, the wind speed. And let's go back here and look what's our wind speed and direction. So about 3,500, it's about 90. So wind speed is 16. And wind direction is 90. And here we go. We got our ground speed, the wind correction, and our true heading. So let's go back to the first page here and write one by one. So our ground speed, which we're looking for, it's about 60 knot. Also, we're gonna put it here for the first point, which is the climb. It's 60 knot. Then our wind correction is -1. So we're gonna go -1 here. 95 minus 1, which is 94. We're gonna add 6 with the variation from the ice bar. It's gonna be 100. Since we said we have a really good magnetic and we have 0 deviation, we're gonna leave it at 100. And that is the heading that we're gonna be having on our airplane when we be traveling from Sanford to our first point, which is Lake Harney. It actually will be the same thing in here, 95. But we're gonna be calculating some other stuff because our true airspeed here is gonna be 105. Sorry, I missed writing that down before we start. And as explained to you yesterday, or actually the day before, for performance, how to get our true airspeed from the performance chart. And we're gonna have in our power setting at 2,300 RPM. Okay, so let's move on here. Okay, so we're gonna be calculating for the climb stuff. So let's go back to our performance here. Our time, fuel, and distance to climb. As I said, our elevation airport is about 55 feet, which we're gonna be using sea level. So we're gonna be climbing at 74, and I put that down for indicated speed. And we're going to about 3,500. So we're taking about 4 minutes. We're actually taking less than that, but since we have not really good wind for that Navlog, we're gonna put 4 minutes. And we actually don't really take that much. And sometimes tower always take us to 1,500, then we're gonna be moving a little before departure, let us climb. Okay, so we're gonna put here for the time 4 minutes. And we're gonna go back here to our E6P or our flight computer. We're gonna go back, we're gonna go to ground speed. So it looks like we got everything here. So we know we're gonna be traveling for 4 minutes to reach our top climb, and our ground speed is about 60 knot. So we're gonna be taking 4 nautical miles here on the top. So we're gonna write down 4 nautical miles here, and that's why I split the box. So it's gonna be 8 nautical miles from Sanford Airport to our first point, which is Lake Harney. But as I said, we're gonna be traveling while we climb. So the rest will be here 4 nautical miles. Okay, so we're gonna move to the next point here. So here is +6 because on our sectional chart, we're still on the west. It's always +6 here in our area. So here's the first isopar +6, and I guess the second one is a little far from that side, but it will be +6. Okay, so we're gonna move to the next point here. So we're gonna go back to our wind correction, and now our true airspeed, which we know it will be 105. That is our cruise speed. So we're gonna put 105 in here. Our true course, it will be the same thing, 95, and wind speed 16, and wind direction is 90. So our ground speed is increasing because we are increasing our true airspeed. So that's gonna be 89. So we're gonna write it down here, 89. And the correction for the wind, still -1. So -1, we're gonna subtract is 94. +6, it's 100. And we're gonna put 0 for deviation. And it's 100 here. All right, so now we know how to fill up how to find the points, how to use the sectional chart to find our points, how to figure out the distance by using the plotter. And we're gonna make another point, or probably that's enough for today. So, all right, so we got our points and we have the heading and everything. And let's get the time for that, because based on the time, we're gonna be calculating our fuel. Okay, so let's do that point as well. So we're gonna go back to ground speed. And our ground speed here is 89. And we're gonna be traveling 4 miles. So the first one here, don't confuse yourself, nautical miles and minute. So it's 4 miles. And we're gonna be taking 2 minutes, 0.7. I always round up, which gonna be 3 minutes. Always be conservative with fuel. Don't go back like 2.5 or 2 minutes and end up you don't have enough fuel. But usually we take 1 hour. That's our according for our school policy. But remember, for VFR navigation, it's 30 minutes, and nighttime VFR 45 minutes, also IFR, but we're not flying IFR for that course. Okay, so we got 3 minutes here. Okay, now we're gonna go to fuel, which that is the main point for the Navlog, because we probably can fly based on pilotage, like our points, like we checked like very good points on the sectional chart and we can see it. We probably don't need these headings, but we do in the Navlog for fuel, how much fuel we're gonna burn, because we don't want to take like full tanks, be heavy and choppy on the air and traveling slow. All right, so on that part, we're gonna be just playing with about only 2 things. So how much we burning fuel per an hour? So as we calculated, it's about 8 gallons. And how many minutes we're gonna be traveling? So the first point here will be 4 minutes. So we're gonna put 4, and we're burning 8 gallons per hour. So we're burning 0.53. Okay, so we're gonna put 0.53 here for fuel. But we making a mistake here. If we're gonna come back here and look at our notes, we need to add 1.54 gallon of fuel for engine run-up and taxi. Make sure you read all the notes. So we're gonna put 1.4 plus 0.53. I always like to put more fuel, so we're gonna put 3 gallons of fuel. I'm pretty sure we're not burning that much, but as I said, we like to be more conservative. Okay, so we're gonna go to the second point. So we are traveling only 3 minutes and burning 8 gallons per hour. It's 0.4, so let's put 0.5. You can put 0.4, that's fine, but I always like to round up. So it's gonna be easier for you in the airplane to calculate as well. Okay, so pretty much we're done with everything. So we got our altitude, we got our points, we know how to get our true airspeed from the sectional chart. After we've done with the Navlog, we can, let's see, we're burning 10 gallons of fuel for that trip. According to the VFR navigation, we're gonna add half an hour. But let's say we're gonna put 1 hour for our school policy. So it's gonna be 28 gallon for that trip, and we're burning here 8 gallons. And you guys all know how to get this stuff, as I showed you on the last lesson on the performance class. Okay, so pretty much we got everything here. So we're gonna go all the way down, doing the same thing with the other points, and we're gonna write down here at the end of everything. So here we're gonna write the total distance, which is about, let's say it's gonna be about 50, and 50 goes here. It's gonna be 50 nautical mile for the whole route. And the time, let's say we're gonna be taking about 40 minutes. It's gonna go here. And our fuel, let's say we're gonna be burning 10 gallon of fuel. It's gonna go down here. All right, so that line, it's kind of like extra, but for your check ride, the more you have on your Navlog, the less question you're gonna get. So I like to transfer these gallons to minutes, but that's fine. You can keep using it like that. So I have 28 gallons here minus 3. So I will have, so here 20 gallon minus 3 is gonna be 25 gallons. And here I burn it 0.5, so it's gonna go to 24.5. That line is like an extra stuff, but it's good to use it. As I told you, the more stuff filled up, the less question you're gonna get. So here is the ATE and the ATA. Don't get confused about that. I got confused on this stuff on my commercial end, of course, maybe because I was stressed out. So ATE, estimated time en route, and ATA, estimated time arrival. That's gonna be working out, so I always like to probably highlight or make a little mark here. So if we're gonna travel in that point, we calculate it's gonna be 4 minutes, but we probably will take more than 4 minutes. Let's say we got 5 minutes or 6 minutes, so we're gonna write it down here. And based on that, we're gonna be calculating the fuel. Same here, let's say we got about like only 2 minutes. So we're gonna write that down here, 2 minutes and calculating, and probably we're gonna get only 0.4 of fuel. So we're going better. As I told you, be more conservative with the fuel and put some extra fuel in your tank. Okay, on that side here, that is our airport of departure, which is Stanford. You can draw the diagram of the airport here and put the elevation and traffic pattern altitude. Our elevation is 55 and our traffic pattern elevation is 1,055 feet. You can draw it, or what I recommend you always print out the airport diagram because it got your frequencies on it. Same thing here for Melbourne Airport, and here that's gonna be our frequency for departure and destination. You're gonna find that out also on your airport diagram, but it's better to write it down here as well. Okay, so we got everything done here. I hope I explain it in an easy way. I wish if we're doing that class in person. I would love to practice with you guys more points and have you working out with me. And that's gonna be the end of our lesson today. And if you have any question, please speak up. Thank you.